My name is Grace Mbwete from the Open University of Tanzania, and in this lecture we're going to cover Clientserver Model. The content of this lecture contains Clientserver Computing Model, Clientserver Evolution, where did Clientserver come from, benefit of Clientserver Computing, pitfalls of Clientserver Computing, and finally the components of Clientserver architecture. So what is a client server? A client server is a term used to describe a computing model for development of computerized systems. This model is based on distribution of functions between two types of independent and autonomous processes, that is, server and clients. So what is a client? A client is any process that requires specific services from server processes. And then what is a server? A server is a process that provides requested services for the clients. Both clients and servers can reside in the same computer or in different computers, but they have to be connected by a network. The key to client and server power is where the requested processing takes place. In the mainframe systems, all processing takes place on the mainframe, and the terminal is used to display the data screens. The client-server environment provides a clear separation of server and client processes. As you can see in this diagram, this is a basic client-server model, whereby you have server on one side and client on the other side, but they have to be connected by a network. And from this diagram, we can see that server processes provide different services, which includes fax, printing services, communication, multimedia, and so on. And on the client side, this is where a client requests services from this particular server. So where did the client-server model came from? Client-server model started in 1970s. We had mainframe computers in 1970s, and then we had microcomputers in 1980s. After that, we had intelligent terminals. These were PCs which were connected to a mainframe, and it allowed electronic download. After that, we had local area networks, which included powerful PCs and network operating systems. And in 1990s, we had a computer landscape whereby a network of larger numbers of heterogeneous computers were able to be connected. That is the evolution of client-server architecture. So what are the advantages of client-server architecture? The first one is that you can develop big applications in small steps. The second advantage is application can reuse components. The third is clients can access data and function easily and safely compared to other modules. Fourth, customer applications can incorporate off-the-shelf components. And fifth, component environments don't get older, they only get better. Another advantage of client-server model is that system can grow easily. It's easy to update and modernize the system, both hardware and software, as the companies evolve, and definitely you'll grow and have new requirements. Another advantage is that individual client operating environment can mix and match computer platforms to suit the needs of individual departments and users. Apart from the advantages, this client-server model has its own demerits. One demerit is dependability. When the server goes down, all the operations go down as well. And another disadvantage is lack of mature tools. Another disadvantage is lack of scalability. And it can cause network congestion within the network. And with all these disadvantages, but it's one of the common used architecture, especially on the web. So what are the components of a client-server architecture? The first and major component, of course, it's a client. This is any computer process that requests services from the server. It's also known as a front-end application. Another part of a client-server architecture is the server. This is any computer that processes providing services to the clients. The server is also known as a backend application. The communication middleware is any computer processes through which clients and servers communicate. It's also known as middleware or communication layer. This is how, as you can see from this diagram, this is how client and server components interact. You've got client on one side, you've communication in the middle, and then you have a server on the other side. In this diagram, it's a database server, whereby a client requests some data from this particular database. So what are the client's components? On the side of client, you need to have a powerful hardware. You need to have operating system capable of multitasking. Another requirement is you have to have a graphical user interface or GUI. And then communication capability, because between client and server, you need to communicate so that you can request services from the server. So these are the as you can see from the diagram, these are the client components, where you have a computer at the bottom, where within this computer there's CPU, there's memory, there's hard disk, there's network interface card, and other components within this particular client. So what are the server components? There's so many things that you can find in servers. One thing is file services. Another thing is print services. You can also have fax services, communication services, database services, which is the most common one, transaction services, and other miscellaneous services. As you can see in this diagram, these are the server components. You have a computer, and then you have a backend server, you have operating system, and then you have a network software interface. As you should know by now that a client is a computer as well, and a server is a computer. And it doesn't mean it has to be a big computer physically. No, it can be a normal computer, but with capability of providing services to its clients. So let us look at the client-server databases. This is the most common used one in many information systems, whereby its functions include to provide transparent data access to multiple and heterogeneous clients, regardless of hardware, software, and network platform. Another function of a client-server database is to allow client to request to the database server over the network. The client-server database also processes client data requests at the local server. Finally, it can send only the SQL results to the clients over the network. We also have distributed client-server databases. The characteristics of this type of database is that location of data is transparent to the user, but data can be accessed and manipulated by the end user at any time in many ways. The processing of data is distributed among multiple computers. And this is the end of our lecture on client-server architecture. Thank you very much.